Monday. What's up, everybody? Monday morning, welcome to today's edition of the Daily Market Commentary. I'm your host, Chuck Fulkerson. Hope you guys all had a great weekend. We're going to do what we do, taking a look at our four major markets from an educational perspective, identifying breakouts and reversals as we get started and rolling for today. Let's go ahead and dive right in. So starting first with the S&P. S&P this morning, we are down about 6 points. And looking here at our S&P, what I see is that in our overnight last night, we put in a really strong reversal candle area. Now, we were looking at a couple of 15-minute levels last night that is kind of essentially where we got our bounce, was off this little, we call it the noisy cricket, right? A little wick over wick area. Stop would obviously have to be below this last candlestick. So we did get a pretty nice bounce off of this region here. My guess is most of us were not doing set and forget it setups on here in this particular position. And so you're probably not catching that unless you're awake, although it's gotten a really nice move off of that level. So what am I looking at for today? Well, looking at today, one of the things that I always want to do is whenever we're in a position where we have an all-time high, and especially when we closed at an all-time high, during the end of the week, I still think that becomes a potential breakout area if price gives us a little bit of basing in front of that region. So there's no reason to think we're going to change direction overall in our overall market movement. And the S&P, when I look at this hourly chart, that looks to be a decent level. If I slide down to the 15-minute for a potential retest area, there are some areas of supply up here where you could get price falling, from this area. This would be our session highs on Sunday night, where you could see some price falling from here. But I'm not willing to short that, right? We don't tug on Superman's cape, we don't spit into the wind, and we certainly don't short the all-time high. So what I'm looking at is, a potential reversal area on a pullback in a 15-minute time period, potentially even this little region right here, if we do drop back a little bit. Now, my only fear with that area is that if we do come back into here, price may fall a little further to get back into this 43.70 area. So I think it's a good safe bet just to kind of wait for price to come around this 44.06, and if we do pop above there, then you've got a good breakout candidate, a good breakout opportunity. Same thing with the NASDAQ, very similar picture on our hourly chart. We didn't pull back quite as far on the hourly chart. We do have let me move to the 15 minutes a little cleaner, a little easier to see. We do have this wick over wick area, all this kind of noise all through here, where price gives us a potential for a reversal if we do indeed drop back down. I just don't know that I see that this morning. I think that we're seeing a fair amount of strength in our overall markets, and so I would look for price to break above this area in here. So if price breaks above that area in there, let me get rid of some of these other lines here. Feels like I've got a few too many lines on my charts. If we break above that region, then I think that you've got a good upside potential. Now, looking at this on the 4-hour chart, one of the things just to kind of consider is we've got a little bit of a trend channel that's being formed here. For those of you that are, big onto the trend trading side of things, there's a nice trend channel being formed, and so I think that would be an interesting breakout coming off of the bottom of this little trend channel that has also been formed. Looking at crude oil for today. So crude oil, we did also get another reversal in the overnights on crude, although it fell a little bit further than the 15-minute level that we had identified from last night's live trade room. So looking at that 15-minute mark here from last night's live trade room, we did pop through that area. Now that's a pretty clean little level. The basing before the level really kind of negated that area, made it a little bit less probable anyhow. But what I would want to do now is let's remove this one, and then this hourly level down below is a pretty clean hourly level where we have this little drop base rally, but we came close to it without getting in. So at this point, I think it makes sense to remove it. Normally, we would do a confirmation entry, but this is a bit of a retest of this area here to the left, and so by coming close to it, I think it makes more sense to remove that zone. Same thing with these supply levels here up above. I'm going to remove those areas of supply. And so that really leaves us with an hourly level of demand down here at about 69. And so on a 15-minute chart, coming back into this region, I'm going to take a look at this area here. This is kind of the sweet spot of an area that I want to look at for today as a potential reversal point. Right there at 71.10 by 70.97. That's a pretty small level. Now, your stop has to go below the wick of the leg-in candle, so it's all the way down here. So it's a fairly wide level when you consider this big leg-in candle. So you may or may not be willing to take that based upon your risk parameters. And then certainly last but not least is gold. So looking at gold, we are up into our hourly supply area, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 candles later, we've done nothing. So if you're in this short position, or if you're thinking about getting in this short position, then just know that your stops have to be really, really, really tight. Although I do see a lot of selling pressure in here. When I look at this on the daily chart, I see that we're in between those areas, those hourly levels that are fairly decent zones and fairly decent levels. But we've been around there for a while, right? I mean, we've been in between this big range since the beginning of July, and so there may be an iron condor out there to play. So keep an eye on on that as a potential. But really, as far as reversals go, there's just not a whole lot out there. I think it's best just to hold your ground and not take a look at anything in particular. So those are our 4 major markets for today, and this week is a very big week for earnings. And on tap for today's earnings is our stock of the day. Stock of the day today is Tesla. So looking at this chart of Tesla, we can see that Tesla has really, really gone. Let me remove some of these older lines here. Has really gone very sideways recently, and we're sitting up against a spot in Tesla where we could potentially see a breakout one way or the other, because we've gone very range bound, right? There's a support level here. You've got a really, really good area of demand down here at 500. So I would actually I'd feel pretty good if we got fairly poor earnings in Tesla and it caused price to drop. Matter of fact, I'd love to see price come back into this area as a potential buy zone. This area here would be the best buy zone that I can think of. Now, we also do, you also could theoretically see a breakout above this region here. So you're whenever you're range bound, you're really looking to see, do we break one way or the other? I don't know that I like this 542 breakout quite as much because I don't have as much room to roam. But a breakout above 700, there's really no quality supply to stop it. There's an interesting, these 2 candlesticks here gave me some really interesting dynamics where, our highs, those upper wicks were really, really close together. And so that's an interesting dynamic, those 2 upper wicks. But aside from that, I don't really have a strong stopping point if we get up above 700. So it might be a good opportunity to look into a call position. So that's all I have for today, everybody. Until tomorrow, have a phenomenal, phenomenal day. I will talk to you soon. See ya. Hey, thanks for joining us. If you like what we do, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. It's the only way the computers know that you're actually alive and really care. And go to tradersarmy.com today to learn a bit more. And if you want to see some of our other videos, click here in the box.